I wanted to make this video real quick. I'm not really sure what this video is going to be, but I wanted to talk about a book that I just finished. It's Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. I really enjoyed this book. Arthur Golden is not Japanese, and Memoirs of a Geisha is not a factual memoir. It's fictional, but he gathered a lot of information from a lot of different sources. Women who were previously geisha, friends of his, all types of different people, especially obviously in Japan. I just want to talk real quick about how I felt about it. Memoirs of a Geisha is a very good book. It is the closest thing that I can relate to feeling like you're actually in Japan, you know, real Japan. It's too funny as it might sound, Lost in Translation with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. What makes the book so memorable is just its vividness and its attention to detail, all the little facts and nuances and idiosyncrasies of geisha and the time period, which is set from when the main character is a little girl, really the peak around her time being a geisha, which is around 1930s, and then it gets into World War II, which is kind of a jump, and then the decline of the era and after that. I don't want to just give you a synopsis of the book because I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's a very, very richly detailed book, and I don't think it's a waste of time. Actually, I have a favorite Japanese author. As much as I enjoy his books, I don't want to say pale in comparison to this book, but this book is just so richly detailed about Japanese history and the geisha and all that. It's really in a class of its own. Like a lot of the reviews on the back, it'll say a great book from a budding new author. You know, sometimes people have what they call one-hit wonders, you know what I mean? Like, your whole life doesn't have to be a constant, like, putting stuff out. You know, if you're lucky enough to come up with something like Memoirs of a Geisha, I think that quality, in a way, can even outweigh another author's quantity. And I think it's a very richly detailed book. I was fortunate enough, I got this book. It's not mine. I borrowed it from the library, and I wish I could keep it. I'm a bibliophile, I think that's the word, and this book in particular kind of tugs at my heartstrings because it's beat up in a very lovingly way. You can see like all the, you know, there's so much like, you know, dents and you know, it's just, you know, it's been lovingly read a lot. Not only that, this might sound weird to some people, whatever, but this book also actually has a very unique smell to it. Since I started reading it, like when I first borrowed it from the library and I started reading it, it has this like old musky like smell. It smells like the houses that these geisha lived in. I don't know, that's the only thing I can think of. It's like a mixture of musk and like old perfume, and it has this great, fantastic smell. I don't know like really how that was done or if it was done on purpose. I imagine this book has been read mostly and will continue to be read mostly by women, but I mean, you don't have to be a woman to appreciate this book. With my love for Japan, I certainly like this book a lot. The text, you know, if you get intimidated by books, you know, the text is rather small, so it's like a big juicy apple. You know, there's a lot going in here, but it's not in any way a chore whenever you're reading it. It's a very, very captivating, draw you in kind of book. Like I said, it's got rich history in it, very detailed. And another nice thing about this book too is, I think when it's done right, a main character can be the reflection of an author, and maybe even like deep parts of an author that they might not even have realized it. And the main character, Chiyo, who after she becomes a geisha takes her geisha name, Sayuri, which I believe is correct, she talks in a very interesting way. You know, just read the book to see how she thinks, but her thinking is different than other people, and I think not only like maybe a reflection of the author, but of the character as well. That's what makes Sayuri unique and different than the other geisha. It's kind of like a Cinderella story in a way. You know, it's kind of like a Japanese Cinderella story, but it's not disappointing in any way. It's very vivid, And I give props to any kind of book that can really paint a picture, but it really does paint a picture for you whenever you're reading it, because it's that rich in detail. I was very pleased with this book. It's one of my favorite books I think I've ever read. It's a very good account of Japan in general, not just the history of Japan, but like the feeling of it. I also like the World War II aspect of it that goes into it, and it's historical fiction, you know what I mean? Like, while this is a work of fiction, it is based in fact. So, you know, the things that he talks about, geisha history and Japan history, is real. You know, it's stuff that's really happening. It's just happening within a fictional story. When it gets into the World War II part, it really makes you think. And, you know, I never really thought about, you know, how deeply the Japanese suffered during World War II. And he paints, again, a good picture about it. I thought that Arthur Golden was like a young guy for some reason. I always thought that he was like a guy in his 30s who went to all these schools and eventually published this book, you know, like right at a young age. What's it say here? 1957. So that would make him like 63 or something like that. So he's... Sorry about that. My iPhone just informed me that I was out of storage, and it promptly decided to stop the video. So I'll just wrap it up here. Rich in detail. It's based on historical fact, so even though it's a fictional book, it's very well factual in the events and the history that is surrounding it. If you're interested in Japanese or Japanese culture, or maybe a good love story that you wanted to try out that's different than something American, even though it's written by an American, it's about Japanese history, check it out. It's a good book. I wish I could keep this copy. Hello, and thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this book review, check out my 2 books that I have on sale. Truly Healthy Now, A Guide to Attaining Enlightenment in Health and Fitness from Things I Learned While in the Navy, and Coffeeholism. I look forward to serving you more.